Finding financial security is a salient message in the story of Rich. Because financial planning should be, but isn't always at the top of everyone's list, author J.D. Joyce spins a fictional story to basically teach us easy-to-understand investment strategy.
With the imaginary tale of Rich and Peg Viva, the story of Rich weaves everyday life experiences, all in a quest to make sense of fundamental investment concepts and choices. With the mantra to plan, 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 emotions and life decisions need to work holistically, he thinks, and believes and acts with financial planning to create a better life.
J.D. Joyce, named a top financial advisor by Barron's Magazine 3 years in a row, is here in the studio to expound on his passion to get people to assess their assets and make some sound moves.
Welcome to Latina Voices. We're thrilled to have you.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for
and
inviting me.
you are teaching in this book just very simple, basic, fundamental ways to invest, to enrich yourself for retirement.
That's exactly right. You know, so many times we tend to focus on things that may not be as important. And so this book is really teaching people to focus on those things that will make a difference in their long-term future and their long-term success.
Yeah.
And what would be something that a person, you would advise them based on the story?
Sure. Well, you know, there's one chapter called News versus Noise.
Yes.
And it's so easy to get caught up in the noise.
I know.
And so noise is those things that may seem important at the time, but long term they really don't have any impact. So whether it causes your portfolio to go up or down short term, long term it's not going to make that big of a difference unless you react to that noise.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're our own worst enemy when it comes to those kind of things. You know, over the years, I've had the privilege of, you know, helping people navigate through these uncertainties. And it could be uncertainties about their personal life. It could be about the economy, about the markets. And if we can take a holistic, as you introduced, a holistic approach and really focus on those things that matter, they'll be more successful long term.
Do you have clients that watch CNBC and then hear something really, oh man, something is coming on the market?
And
do you have all the calls? Do you have all the calls? Because I call my financial advisor and she says, MINERVA, okay, just hold on. You know, there was a 10-day streak where there were a lot of gains in the market. And I was getting very excited. Yes. And of course, she brought me down to the ground quickly.
The market has a way of doing that.
Yes.
Well, you know, in fact, there's a chapter in the book where Rich goes over to watch a baseball game, and he's going to go just have a good time, and he goes over to his friend's house, and the whole time, the friend can hardly enjoy himself because he continues to check on the market, and he's all upset and agitated. And again, if you know these key principles, things such as, you know, the fundamentals, what to look for, then you don't have to get so upset about the little blips of exactly.
What is interesting also, and it'd be good to share a little bit with the audiences, is you talk about the financial strategy has to be very unique to the investor. Your own goals, your personality, your life story, and your tolerance for risk. Now, this is a great story, but this person's, I mean, I know he built it and grew it, etc., but at the end, he has a nice little nest egg. What can you tell us, the mere mortals that are not at that stage, I don't know if we'll ever be, but you know, that have had a company like this? What would you do for the rest of us mere folks? Of, you know, give some ideas of what to do in terms of creating this opportunity.
No, thanks, Sophia. That's a great question. What I have found is regardless if you have millions or if you're just starting out, it's the same principles. It's just different zeros at the end of the at the end of the ledger, if you will. And so in here, you know, one of the first things is decide what is it you want to accomplish with this money. What are your goals? So whether you have a very small amount to start with that. Or if you have a great sum, start with that. But first of all, what do I want to accomplish with my money is number one. What do I want to, what other ways other than just financially, how is this going to impact my heirs, my lifestyle? You know, what are those decisions we're going to make? Because sometimes we find that people, you know, will spend too much early on and have a pretty, you know, meager existence in their latter years. Or they're going to, sometimes I see the exact opposite, where they just save and save and save, and then when they should be enjoying their money, they can't.
Right.
Because
they don't have it.
or they become almost
too much.
They save too much where they're almost miserly and they can't enjoy it. And so neither works. You know, but there's so many different concepts that are important. Whether it's but I would always start with what are my goals and objectives, because if you can get that down, then many of the other things will come together.
Well, what about the situations where we've had a national downturn, a national, as we saw in 2008 and through just last year, it seems like. What do you do? This is something you really can't control.
You can't, but see, it depends on your investment time horizon. So, and I keep talking about another concept, but there's a story in here talking about time horizon. And basically, with your time horizon, what you're looking at is, when do I need that money? So money that you may need in the next year or so, I think you should have liquid, because there's too many uncertainties. We don't know what's around the corner. You know, God forbid a terrorist attack or something like this occurs, the market can pull back substantially. And if it just happens right when you need that money, then you have a problem. But if your investment time horizon is for, you know, your young child to go to college 15 years down the road, or it's for your retirement 20 years down the road, then that's actually an opportunity, because you're investing when things are low. We all say that we want to buy low and sell high.
Right.
But unfortunately, when we're selling high, what that means is everything seems perfect at that moment. So when the market's really high, things look pretty good. And when the bad news is out there, and it's, you know, we want to buy low, that's when most people don't want to do it.
They pull back.
And that's the very time to do it.
Yeah.
So, it's like buying boots right now, ladies. You know, it's off
For next year.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I was just going to say, JD, this message is so important to the youth, because, you know, the whole time value of money is critical.
Right.
You know, you got to start young. And so how are you trying to get this message out to today's youth?
Sure. Well, you know, in one chapter, Rich and Peg's son moves to Europe.
Yes.
Yes.
The PÉREZ.
Yes.
I love that down.
And he decides he's going to become an artist.
Yes,
And at first they're okay with that, because they saw it as a study abroad kind of program.
Yeah, living along the Seine.
Exactly. But when he decides he wants to live there permanently, and he's barely getting by, you know, there's an issue. And so how they address that is they incentivize him, and so they come up with a matching program. And I think that's a great way to teach your children. If you'll save X, we'll match it with Y.
Which is what some companies used to do.
Yeah.
They don't do it so much anymore.
Not as much anymore. But think about what you can teach those young people, or you know, and it's a way for them to learn about business through their own personal life and through their family life.
Well, brilliant idea. Unfortunately, we're about to run out of time, but brilliant idea to have authored this book.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. You know, so many people I work with, they say, I don't really want a textbook. I want to hear a story. And so I'm hoping that people find this as a story they can relate to.
Yes.
And that they can,
Certainly.
it's an easy read.
Well, financial fable of wealth and reason during uncertain times.
And we're
The
still in
story of
uncertain
Rich.
times.
We recommend it.
Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
you.
JD, for
thank
being
you.
with us. It's been lovely talking to you, and I learned a bit myself.
It's
Thank
been
you.
my honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, and we'll be right back.